Let's welcome to the show, friend of the program, Evan Miyakawa, evanmia.com. Look at that background. Evan, how you doing, my friend?
Hey, it's good to be here, guys. Super pumped.
My dog Evan's got the good backdrop, the good microphone. I don't even know why I ever doubted you. Evan, with this pre-draft process, I know we talk a good amount offline, obviously. Is there any type of, or at least can you shed some light on maybe some analytical things that come into play with the NBA draft? Because I know, obviously, if there is something there about analytics, you are the guy we need to go to.
Yeah, I think one of the trends recently that's been kind of interesting is people debating about age and how important that is for prospects. People are kind of divided on like how much of a difference being 18 versus 22 or 23 makes. And I think we've started to see a shift a little bit in recent years where the age of a prospect hasn't mattered quite as much as we've seen in the past. And so if you can get a guy like last year, like a Jaime Jaquez, who's a proven college player, who is really dominant in D1 and is improving every single year, these guys can make an impact on the squad right away. And so I think there's kind of the opinion is changing a little bit in terms of, okay, do we really think an 18-year-old is going to be that much better? And are we willing to wait on their potential compared to a 22 or a 23-year-old, especially when we're talking about players kind of outside of the top 5 or top 10 of the draft?
Going off of that, we just interviewed Tristan Newton, and after talking to him for 5 minutes, I'm like, why would you spend a lottery pick on Nikola Topic, whose best attribute might be his still tipping Houston rap sounding deep voice, when you can just get Tristan Newton in the late first round and he might be better? That's the point guard. That's the point guard I would take. But who is like your model? You mentioned Jaime Jaquez. I know you had a tweet about him as well. Is there anybody that like your model, your performance rankings would slot as maybe someone who could fill that type of role as a Jaime Jaquez? And, maybe it won't surprise us if they're productive, but could surprise some of the NBA fans.
Yeah, I mean, positionally, I don't think these are quite equivalent, but I'm looking at guys like Kyle Filipowski, Tyler Kolek, maybe even a Jamal Shed, to be guys who are been so good, and they're so good right now compared to so many of these other players that when you put them in, there's a good chance that one of these guys really ends up having a great NBA career, and they're kind of being overlooked just because they're maybe a little bit older or weren't as highly regarded out of high school, especially in the, we're talking about Kolek and Shed, for example. But these guys are good right now, and they can make a difference right now. And so a lot of times these guys, there's been a lot of talk about Jalen Brunson and how on earth did people miss that he was going to be this good? He was drafted in the middle of the second round. Well, he was the best player in college on one of the best teams in college, and he was just proven. And so you look at guys like Kolek and Shed and Kyle Filipowski, and those guys, to me, not all of them are going to hit, but there's certainly a good possibility that one or two of them will.
Well, who was your guy in this draft? You know the numbers better than anybody. You have a keen eye as well, not numbers wise, but the more traditional eye test. Who's your guy in this draft?
My guy's Reed Sheppard. He has been the most impressive freshman. The analytics love him. The advanced metrics love him. His impact on the court from Kentucky was amazing. He's one of the best three-point shooters in this class. So I think when you combine how well he did in college, I had him ranked in the top 5 in the country in my metric that measures how valuable players are. And then also his, his good high school recruiting profile and the potential that he still has to grow. He's definitely my guy. I think Donovan Clingan's kind of in the conversation too, but for a guy who I think is going to be a great pick for whoever gets him kind of wherever, Reed Sheppard's my guy.
I'm shocked the analytics guy fell in love with the most ruthlessly efficient player I've seen.
On the flip side, is there a guy that you're the opposite on? Like, how is this guy mocked in the lottery? My numbers do not demonstrate that.
Boy, this is not as fun to talk about. But I mean, some of I've had my metrics have been a little bit lower on Dalton Knecht all year. Tennessee fans are certainly well aware of this. And my thing with him is I think he could be a great NBA player. But a lot of the reason why he's slotted so high is because his best attribute is scoring. He's a fantastic scorer. He can shoot the ball really well. But people are anticipating that he's going to be better at everything else than he was in college because of his size, because of his athleticism. And the reality is that they're expecting him to take a leap defensively. They're expecting him to take a leap as more of a secondary role player on an offense potentially instead of being the primary scorer. And that's a big if. We don't know if that'll happen. And so for me, I think there's other guys who are good scorers as well, but also more proven in other areas of the game that I think might be a little bit better than him. Again, he could be a great player, but I think according to my numbers say he might be a little bit too high, according to some.
According to my eyes and my fashion expertise, Dalton Knecht will never start for an NBA team after the DK chain and the all. Come on. You could take one look at him on the red carpet tonight. He's a bust.
Hey, please respect the DK chain. Speaking of appearance, Evan, I got bad eyes, so I need you to shed a little light here for me. Are those different like brands of oatmeal behind you? What are we doing? What is that? I mean, is it beer brands? What is it?
This is the best guess I've gotten in terms of my wall back here. These are coffee bags. These are coffee bags. I'm a coffee connoisseur. These are from roasters all over the country. The wall is a lot bigger than this, believe me. So yeah, these are coffee bags that I collect.
How many cups do you drink a day?
Just one. I drink one really nice cup of coffee after lunch. It's perfect.
Wow, and after lunch.
Wait, Riley, what player in this draft class drinks the most cups of coffee per day?
Matthew Meyer is not in the class. Baylor Shireman or Cam Christie. It is one of those two.
Riley, I think it's Alex Sarr. I feel like Alex Sarr is like very cranky if he doesn't have an Americano out of an actual cup. Like he's like not going to have a good day.
No one's saying Cam Spencer.
Cam Spencer's off night. He just runs off craziness. Yeah. He doesn't do caffeine.
He seems
just all generated.
Something's got to fuel the crazy.
He wakes up caffeinated, just like Dan Hurley.
He's a Rockstar energy drink kind of guy. That like he strikes me more energy drink than coffee. Let's see. Evan, I do have a question that is related to analytics, not related to the draft. Carter actually kind of gave me the inspiration for this question pre-show. You're a man of faith. I'm a man of faith. Who is your holy trinity of analytics guys out there? And you have to include yourself. I want you included in the holy trinity of analytics.
Wow. Okay. So I guess I'd have to go, if we're including myself in this, and I just have to pick two. So we'll go with the original inventor of the 4 factors, Dean Oliver. He made this book, Basketball on Paper, in the early 2000s. That's revolutionized basketball. And then I got to go with my second and closely related, the father of college basketball analytics, Kenneth Pomeroy. Shout out to him. He's paved the path for where I am today.
Carter has called Ken Pom fraudulent for going on 18 months now. Carter, does that hurt your heart a little bit to hear that?
No, so someone's got to keep him fresh. All right. He's been around for a long time, and I respect the man. But at the same time, we all need to hold ourselves to standards. I want to be held to standards, and he should be as well.
Does that mean you're 3, Evan? I mean, Trinity's got a 3rd spot. Is that Evan Mia?
I mean, if we know about the Trinity, they're all the same person, and they all are equally a part of it. So we're not ranking these, okay?
Understood.
Okay, since I made – oh, sorry.
I got one final question for Evan, then we're going to let him go. This week, analytics news, I guess it's more content than analytics, but Jordan Sperber, Hoop Vision, hired to Mississippi State with Chris Jans. That was awesome. A lot of people are huge fans of his work, including myself. I think many of us on this call. I'm sure that you have probably had your various forms of dealings with teams at multiple levels. Is the Jordan Sperber path something that could be in the future for Evan Mia?
I mean, I definitely won't rule anything out, but I think at this point, I'm more set on working kind of with multiple teams at a time, as well as being in the public sphere, as opposed to kind of locking my future to one team. I have had a job offer or two that I have turned down from teams in the past. So right now I'm firmly fixed on continuing to make evanmia.com as good as I can.
Love it. You heard the man. evanmia.com is our favorite analytics site. It should be yours as well. Evan, thanks for making time for us tonight. Enjoy the NBA draft, my friend.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
It's a smart man right there.
He is smarter than us.
Relax.
I do have to give a shout out. Evan sent this tweet to us where he appeared on a podcast and someone said, surprisingly not nerdy. And I had the same reaction upon meeting Evan. Well, upon interacting with him, upon having him on a podcast. Like, his setup is legit. He is not your typical mathematician nerd. And I got to applaud him on that. Great dude. Great hang.
Very great hang. We love Evan. Okay, quick check